Tonight on Project Runway All-Stars, bring your sweet tooth. We're hitting the big stage with our avant-garde challenge. Django's feeling the stress, someone's going home, and we are Skyping in with contestant Anthony Ryan. Keep it right here.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Look, guys, we have a full panel for the first time ever.
We did it. We did it.
We made it. Project Runway after show, full panel, and I think tonight's episode is super appropriate. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and we are feeling sweet. We've got chocolate, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory themed episode. Let's meet the panel. I'm your host, Haley J.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Carroll.
Hey guys, I'm Monique Loveless.
And I'm Katie Thompson.
And like we teased you before, we have a very special guest. Anthony Ryan is Skyping in with us tonight. Hi, Anthony.
Hi, how are y'all?
Good. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. This is a perfect episode to talk to you, by the way. Congratulations.
Yes, it's a fun episode for sure.
We do have a lot to cover. We are going on Broadway for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Challenge. It's an avant-garde challenge, so they want to see something that we've never seen before. We have to say goodbye to someone, of course, like every episode. So what do you guys think of what we saw tonight?
I loved it, but I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted more chocolate in the challenge. I know we decided to go avant-garde, but like, let's get some chocolate in there. I don't know. Or like more musical theater. I don't know. That's just me, though.
I felt like this was probably the best episode out of all of them. Like, I felt like this time everybody leveled up and they brought something very innovative and they brought something very different from what we see them usually do. So this was a good challenge.
I saw nice outfits, but I didn't think that enough of them were functional. Like, I didn't see too many inventions. I think Anthony's was one of the few that actually like, oh yeah, that's new. That's an invention.
So you did make a good point about that.
Yeah.
What did you think when you think invention, what comes to mind? Do you think it just needs to be something you've never seen, or should it actually have a function and do something within the outfit?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was the most challenging part. If you've watched a lot of the challenges that they've given us, they like to do these, like, what I call double challenges, where it's, okay, it's the traditional avant-garde challenge, but let's make it a little bit more all-stars worthy and throw in something else. So to me, it should have had a demonstration, I guess is where I was coming from with my concept. You know, it wasn't, okay, let's imagine that this fabric changes colors and that's the invention. You know, to me, that was kind of the whole pressure point of, you know, thinking on your feet. And some of us kind of rose to the occasion and some of us didn't. But it was a day challenge. To me, it should have been 2 days.
Yeah.
For us to really kind of convey what we wanted to do. Because to ask someone to do avant-garde and then to throw in this idea of like, oh, I'm going to put you on the spot and you've got to create something like totally brand new. I mean, people take their whole lifetimes to create inventions. So it was definitely super challenging.
That's the thing. It's like you ask yourself in fashion, is anything ever new? Because it has to be functional, right? It has to be functional, but at the same time, like everything is being recycled for a reason. It's not just because... it's not just because we, you know, in the fashion world, we want to recycle it. It's because it's like everything has been done.
Yeah. Right.
So
in some form.
The fact that the designers were able to rise to this occasion and actually bring certain elements that haven't been really thought of, like you said, within a day, was freaking amazing to me. And I felt like a lot of people rose to the challenge.
And
Yeah,
Anthony,
when we say day, we're talking like 10 hours we had to work on.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Well,
and you
Anthony,
had a cool
did an amazing job.
backstory. Sorry.
I was going to say.
You had a cool backstory. You talked about your friends that were deaf and you got the inspiration. I thought that was really nice that it was a personal touch as well. Did you have to take a second to think about that, or did that immediately come to your mind as what you wanted to do?
No, I mean, I was struggle busting it all the way up until we got to Mood, okay? So we were sitting in that theater and it looks like I'm writing stuff down, right? But I really didn't dawn on me until we were in the vans that they shuttle us to all the way to Mood that it kind of like hit me. But yeah, I actually have two really good friends who are deaf, and we've gone out and we've gone to different places, and they usually have a little mini pad or their iPhone with technology. But it was just kind of like taking it back to if they didn't, what it could be in this whole invention of creating a garment you could ride on. Alyssa Milano actually said during the critique, it was edited out, that it would be such a great invention for kids.
Yeah, I was going to say
totally
that.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, I remember breaking my arm, and I was so excited for my friends to sign my cast, and that's
Right.
immediately what I thought of, like how cool. And I can just imagine going to the bar with your friends, being like, "Let me ride on the jacket."
Yeah.
Like, that would be
Right,
fun.
like Michelle did, drawing that little moment on there. With,
Out of curiosity, what do they do with the outfits? Do you know? Like, I would love to actually see where that is. I think it's really
they
cool.
said they don't know.
So one of the things they do is it gets archived, but typically they auction them off every season. If you know anything about all of the debacle that has gone on with Runway, I feel like these garments may have just been lost in translation or probably in storage somewhere. But typically every season they auction off the garments, and all of the proceeds go to some specific charity for that season.
If you're inspired by, or I mean, you created it already, if you want to recreate a look you've done, are you allowed to, or are they like, no, you made it on Project Runway, so now you can't?
Okay, so technically, I will say this, like we have talked about, nothing in fashion at this point, nothing's new, so to speak. Until we get to that point where technology creates a fabric that we can change with the click of a button, we're not there yet. So technically, I could take this idea and put my own spin on it and change it, so to speak, to a certain percentage, and quote unquote recreate it. But from a legality standpoint, it's Project Runway.
Okay,
Right.
got it.
Besides yourself, who is one of your favorite designers on this actual season?
I will say that me, Dimitri, Michelle, Anya, and Sean Kelly have an amazing group message going on about this season. And it's the most entertaining thing besides the actual episodes. But I was closest with Anya. We really bonded on season 9. That was our original season. But I would have to say between me, Anya, Michelle, and Sean Kelly, as I guess, designer, that's a hard one because it's a competition, and so obviously we all want to win. But I have the utmost respect, I think, for Michelle and Sean Kelly, for sure.
Okay.
Watching it back, do you think the behind the scenes really portrayed the reality of your experience?
They try to fit a lot in an hour, and to me, they can't use it any kind of way that you don't give it to them, if that makes sense.
Right.
If I say a funny comment about something, then it's going to be that funny comment. They could use it somewhere else, but I think overall it does. There are things that I wish they would show that don't get shown, and things that they obviously show that we don't wish were shown, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate.
So we talked to Dimitri before, and he said it took them 3 times to get him to the show. Were you the same way, or did they immediately call you and you were like, yes?
What do you mean 3 times to get him? Like they had
begged
to ask
him
3 times?
Yeah, they were begging him back, and he was like,
don't let that little try it. Don't even. He was signed up the second that contract was in his mailbox. Okay? Don't even let him try it. No, so I do.
I love it.
I've always worked with production, so I've done quite a few castings. I've casted a lot of the original seasons of Runway, like 16, 15, 14. So I kind of knew this was happening, and it was already on my plate before anyone else knew. So it was something that I'd already been thinking about. It just had to be the right timing. And it, to not represent, I guess, me as a Southern designer, the South and a, worldwide competition would kind of been doing it injustice. So it was automatically something I signed up for.
Do you have any prep work behind the scenes of what you do before you go on reality TV?
No, I mean, this is my 3rd go round. Like, if I ain't got it together this time, then I don't need to be going. Do you know what I mean? Like, y'all know television, yes, it's half fashion based and it's half television wise for me. So it's a matter of balancing those two as well. So just to try and get back in that mindset is probably one of the most challenging things.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember watching you on your original season, and I wanted to ask you, what is it like? So you were with Heidi and Tam in the original cast, and now you're with this new cast. Can you tell us what are the differences, and just tell us more about your experiences with both?
You know, going into season 9, I had no idea. It was my first, it's my first rodeo, so to speak. So it was definitely something that, it shook me, I guess, in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, it was one of the most positive adventures I've ever taken, because I was kind of dubbed the golden child throughout college, and I was always craving this really great feedback, but never really got it. You know, it was always like I couldn't really do no wrong. So going into Project Runway in this season 9, it was really fun to get this feedback I was craving from these big industry professionals. Going and doing All Stars, I kind of looked at it a different way, and just like we talked about just now, it's just a matter of, I need to bring the television aspect, but also I need to bring great design. So yeah, I guess it was learning a lot about who I am as a person and a designer, but also learning a lot of how this television show worked,
I do want to get to how Django threw some shade at you, but first we have a special announcement for our viewers. Princess, you want to take it away?
Yeah, guys. So before we move on to the next topic or our next question, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And for us to continue to grow, we could really use your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to all 4 of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our show.
Thank you. Now let's get to the tea. So, Django, he was mad that you called Ann Miss Ann, but you're a Southern guy. Don't you call everyone Mr. and Mrs. for the most part?
Correct. So if you want to do your research, go back to season 9, episode 1. I call Tim Gunn. I call him Mr. Gunn. And raised as a Southern, I'm straight up from the South. We are raised Mr., Miss, thank you, hold the door open. And if you don't, your mama's going to whoop yo, So it's one of those, until I meet these industry people and people who are older than me. Honestly, I tell the young girl at the gas station, thank you, yes, ma'am. So, going into it, I've called Joanna Coles, who was season 2 of All Stars. I called her Miss Joanna. She never corrected me. I continue to call her Miss Joanna. The same thing goes for Miss Ann. It was Miss Ann. So I call her that. It's just something that I think Django, didn't have growing up. It's not a part of his culture, but in the same breath, it was kind of shady for him to come after the way that I was brought up in my culture, so to speak, because I had never kind of placed that type of negative energy on him.
Seemed like he took his frustrations of not getting good critique on you.
And in that moment, I wanted to just ride off the rails and just come back for him. But it was, a moment of strategized thinking. Like, go ahead and bite the hand that feeds you, boo boo. Like, they're gonna get you for this, and they're gonna use it in a way you don't like. And as you see, that didn't really pan out well for him.
Yeah, it didn't. But I guess one of my questions to you is, what do you think about the judges this season compared to the judges the original judges?
Oh, well, the tea is, if you want my honest opinion.
Yes, we want it all.
I think this panel is just a little bit, their taste level is a little older, if that makes sense. To me, Nina and Heidi, my original season was Michael Kors and even Zach Posen. They've always kind of looked ahead to what fashion is and where it's going and what it can be. And I think, Isaac, Georgina, and love her to death. Alyssa Milano, she's the sweetest person, but her stylist needs to be fired.
Thank you. I say that every week. I say that every week. Like, literally, I say that every week. Like, seriously.
Same dresses every
As
time.
a designer, we've talked about this before, but that would drive me crazy. If you've studied design, you know what you're doing, and you have to just kind of sit there, grin and bear it from people that might really not.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not that they don't know. I mean, if you want me to throw shade, I mean, what are you judging on, Isaac Mizrahi? How many dresses are going to sell in an hour? Do you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
Right, thank you.
So, you were big in the 90s. Got it. Check. Let's move forward.
Exactly.
So it's just a matter of, like, I wish they would kind of look to where fashion is and kind of be a little bit more open-minded. They seem to, like, be kind of stuck in a little bit of a bubble. And, the judges on the original Project Runway, even though they might not always get it, they can appreciate it. And I just feel like sometimes that's the gap here they're lacking.
I kind of felt that way too, and I've been saying it all this season on our panel here. Is one, I need Alyssa Milano to get a different stylist. I agree.
Yeah.
And second of all, you explained it really well as far as like they have an older vibe or they're used to being, because I mean, they haven't done much of the current stuff. I think that pinpoints what I have been talking about, because I don't really care for the judges this season, and I can't stand that they keep getting these actors. Like, what does actors know about fashion? You have a stylist. You call me to style you. Like,
Well, last week they had a race car driver, I thought, at one point. I was like, how did we get here?
I don't see how you guys stand up there and take that criticism from them when they don't know. A lot of the times they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, some of the guest judges, I just clap dumbfoundedly because I'm like, I have no idea who this is. You know what I mean? I'm like, sure, okay. But there are some, Wendy Williams, for example, they edited her in such a way that she came across a little brash. I absolutely loved her as a guest judge because she wasn't hearing it from any of them. She had her opinion on it.
Like Wendy does.
She liked what she liked, and that was the end of it. And she didn't really let them sway her in any kind of other way.
Yeah.
I do feel like they have a pressure to kind of, I know what I'm talking about, so they'll agree with the other judges. Like, sometimes you can sense that from them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And Wendy just wasn't having it. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Wendy's style choices, of course, but I like that she had an opinion and the other judges weren't going to sway her, if that makes sense.
How was it hard working with the material of the jacket that you made this round?
It was, okay, if you know anything about 99-cent vinyl, those clear umbrellas and then, raincoats you get at Walmart for $9.99, that stuff sticks to everything, okay? So it was difficult to get it through the machine because it made it thicker.
Yeah.
My jacket ended up being more oversized than I wanted it to be. But, all in all, I had a good balance of the avant-garde and the idea of an invention.
Yeah.
For instance, Dimitri's coat for this episode, he killed it. Like, that's probably one of the best things I've ever seen him do.
Yes.
But he's just safe. Do you know what I mean? But you have to look at it as from an audience standpoint, like, okay, here's what the parameters are, and there's got to be some kind of balance between them. And boo, you can't just go, oh, it keeps you hot or cold. Like, no, that's not going to work.
Right.
If somebody gave you an endless amount of money to make a garment, what fabric do you think you would go with? Like, what do you think you'd direction? That's not a full sentence, but I tried.
I would probably go, one of my favorite things to work in is wool, but I also love leathers and these kind of new plastics that they're coming out with. My style is very streamlined. It can be very wearable and broken down. I mean, let's just call a spade here. We wear jeans and T-shirts on a daily basis. That's what we live our lives in. And so I'm all about this kind of idea of balancing, what runway is and what we wear on a daily basis, and can it go from here or there?
I love that.
So I would have to say more of these natural fabrics like wool and leather. I mean, until we get to an idea of where I could just click a button and change it to where I want it to be, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're stuck in fashion.
I think you need to create it. Clearly, you came up with the idea. Let's do it.
It's being created. It's being created through the 3D printers and fashion and stuff that they're coming up with the technology. That's why they had the Met Gala Ex Machina technology meets fashion. But anyway, I guess my last question kind of is to you, which is like a two-part. Are you working on a line now or a collection now? And what direction are you going as far as your new collection?
So right now, I mean, you guys don't probably know too much. I have a store here in San Antonio that I've had for 4 years. I'm constantly designing and spitting things out. Like I said, it's very ready to wear. It's very everyday. You know, my price point is a very easy. It's on, anywhere between $48 and $98. But right now, honestly, wholeheartedly, I'm really re-inspired by this owl look that I did. It has this kind of very resort wear that I love, and the linens and the lightweight idea that I'm kind of moving into for spring, summer. But I'm also doing things that are inspired by each challenge, whether it be the color, the silhouette, the idea, the concept, and we're carrying them in store as well.
Very cool. And we touched on this. Django went home. Congratulations again. You were the winner.
Thank you.
Did you know, like, you had it in the bag, or were you surprised that you won?
I never know. Getting up on that runway, what you guys see is just a bleep. We're up there for like 4 hours, right?
Oh my gosh. Why?
Yeah, I mean, we're standing up there forever. So
Any
in
snacks?
that moment,
Oh my God.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like they take at least, 30 to 45 minutes per designer. It takes forever.
Wow.
But in that moment, I didn't know. Sometimes I know I have it in the bag, but on this challenge, I wasn't sure. I knew my concept would come across clearly, but I wasn't sure if the silhouette was too much, because like I said, I did think I made it a little too big. But yeah, I mean, I never know. I always look petrified up there. So, and there's some, I think there has been some twist with the tops and the bottoms this season, and I think it's going to continue that way as well.
Anthony, I have a personal question for you.
Yeah.
So earlier in the season, you mentioned that you lost your grandmother, and I just lost mine right before the holiday. So I wanted to ask you, how did you manage grieving while still participating in a grueling competition?
Honestly, I don't think I did. I don't think I truly grieved until after I was done with it. Even watching this season, I can notice there's a difference in me then and even me now. As far as like, I always felt a little bit on edge. It's just something that just kind of happened and I wasn't prepared for it. And it was like, okay, I still got to go do this. But, I think in the back of my mind, I just channeled that kind of negative energy and that sadness and put it into my work and just thought of her the whole time. And found something and moments that she would be proud of me in, So it was tough, but in the same breath, I knew she was kind of there with me the whole time, and just thinking about what she might say, because my grandmother was real country, and she'd go, "What woman's gonna wear that? I got boobs," like those type of things. And I think that's kind of how I honored her in the end, and trying to get through that season.
Oh,
I feel like that's like turning your pain into your power, and you really you captured that very
I'm
well.
a 2-time cancer survivor now, and so a lot of those moments that I had with that, I kind of took those negative vibes and energy that life was kind of throwing at me, and I channeled them into something positive, whether that be fashion or artwork. And I kind of did the same with my grandmother's passing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
We do have to wrap it up. Do you guys have any last questions for him?
No.
Thank you so much. You were amazing to talk to. You're so fun.
Thank you. Yeah,
And
anytime. And thank
again.
y'all.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Enjoy that
Bye.
wine.
Have a good night.
Bye.
And thank you guys for all your input. He was so fun.
I know.
Yeah.
So
We could have
nice.
talked to him
Really nice.
forever, but
I know.
we have to get to our special segment. If you guys have played along with us before, this is where we do our pass or purchase. So we are going to see the top 6 looks, and as a panel, we are going to decide if we are going to pass on this or purchase. And we have to think a little outside the box here because they were big, never before seen looks. So this is not going to be our
Yes.
typical everyday wear, but it's going to be fun. So we're going to get into Christina. She was that DJ jumpsuit. Hard purchase for me. I loved it. What do you guys think?
I agree. I actually, so when she talked about the boombox on the hips, I was like, oh, this could go really wrong because no one wants to draw attention to their hips. But I thought she did a really good job. It actually flattered her, and I respect the way that she did it. I thought she did amazing.
I feel like the hips you do want people to look at these days.
I
I'm
guess
thinking
it
like
depends
J-Lo.
on
Okay.
like your shape, because I'm just like, you could just, I don't know, I felt like it could have gone wrong very easily.
that.
Yeah.
It was a purchase for me, but I would want it in a different color.
What color?
I'm doing red right now.
I was thinking red
Okay,
too.
I
Yeah.
love red right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely red.
I would pass. I don't know. Not a fan. I didn't love the material. Didn't love it coming down the runway. I'm all set.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have Django next. Of course, didn't work out for him. We saw him go home.
I kind of liked it though.
See, I felt like he was just doing too much. So I'm going to pass on it.
If he would have gotten rid of the pants, I think I could have gone with it. But the pants was a like weird last minute addition for me. So because of that, I will pass too.
I will definitely purchase because I love the hat. I love the sheer pants. I love the Chanel-esque top that he had, the bell sleeves. It gave me very Southern vibes. So I would purchase, but I would have to wear to a certain event. But I always have events that I can go to. So it would be an
Especially
amazing
in LA.
piece.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on the outfit, but I'll purchase that hat because that's cute.
nice,
I'll
yeah.
wear that somewhere. Maybe I don't know, but I like it a lot, so I'll purchase the hat.
Next up is our winner, Anthony Ryan, and I don't know if he could still be watching right now. I'm not just saying this, but I did like it. I was gonna definitely purchase this. It looked fun, I said before. It reminded me of when people used to sign people's casts when you
Yeah.
were little, and it was fun, and this just brought, I think he really channeled the challenge very well and made it wearable as well as cool and something we haven't seen before. So
Yeah.
purchase for me.
Yeah, I thought it had a really cool childlike quality. It kind of took me back to like kindergarten where you have the smock when you're
Yeah.
going to paint. So it took me back to a good time. So I'm going to purchase just because of that.
I definitely say purchase because it was very innovative. I know that's why I know that material was very hard to do. And it just reminded me of like a raincoat in a new way, in a new vibe. So I really loved it. So I would say purchase.
I'm gonna purchase it because your girl loves to color. So if I can color on my clothes, I'm in. So purchase for me.
Wouldn't that be fun? Just like maybe a few too many drinks out with
Yeah.
your friends and you just start writing on the jacket. I just feel like that would be a good
Yeah.
time.
Or it would make for like a cool photo shoot if like you do it and then you do it in the rain and then like it washes
that'd
off.
be cool.
I'm liking this
I like
idea.
that.
It's a cute
I
one.
like
I
that.
like it.
See, I want to know where that piece is right now. It's like,
Right.
I want to see that. I want to
Yeah.
wear that.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Our next one is Irina. So she was blue with the lots of fabric going on there. I feel like it's kind of fun, honestly. I liked the makeup at the top, and I think it's kind of what you were saying before, as far as you need to go somewhere for this type of thing. It needs to be the right event. I wouldn't wear it to lunch. But if I wanted to make a statement somewhere, I feel like I would purchase this one.
I think they brought it up during the review, but the dress underneath, for me, just kind of cheapened it a little bit. I think if she had paid a little bit more attention to the dress itself, then I would consider purchasing it. But just the wings by itself is not enough for me.
Do you think that was a time issue or just her design?
No, because she's used to doing a lot in a little bit of time. Like we've seen her do it time and time again. So I wouldn't even give her that pass. Yeah.
Especially now in the competition, it's kind of like, no.
Yeah,
excuse
you've
for
done
something
way
like
too
that.
much, lady. So yeah.
I would have to pass on this actual thing. I would deconstruct it. I would want a longer dress to make it more dramatic, more flowy. This is like a more resort type feel. So it should have like the longer feel with the dramatic wings or whatever. and the color is horrid. So I would deconstruct it. On this particular design, I would say pass.
I would pass. I would make it into pants, like a pantsuit, and I'd make like the whole like thing smaller up top. But then I guess I wouldn't have been avant-garde. And I also don't like the way her boobs look in it, and mine would look even worse. So therefore,
Right, not flattering on the chest.
no. Anything that starts here and then flows down is going to make them look like they're touching the ground. So I'm all set because we don't know where her boob begins and ends. So
And I just don't need anything pushing mine down.
yeah,
any
I don't want
smaller,
that
so.
either. So I'm going to pass on this one.
Next up, we have Sean. He had we said we liked the red, but now I might regret saying that after this look.
Yeah.
I thought the hair concept was cool, but the hair is not the outfit. And I didn't hate the holes, but just with the ties on the side and the ties at the bottom, it was a little too rodeo for me. Maybe I didn't like something cowboy about it. I'm gonna pass.
Well, because her hair probably reminds you of like holding on to the reins on the when you're like on a horse. It's like hold on, here we go. And her dress is like a saddle. It all makes sense. I'm seeing
I'm
it.
gonna get it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't see the saddle until now. So
I didn't either actually until
I'm getting
just
saddle
now.
vibes.
I
She's
was
go to
gonna
Saddle
pass
Ranch.
anyway, but now even more so because now I just see a saddle. Great.
Now, this is a toss up for me because if it has a very it doesn't I love the concept but not the execution, and I love the hair, but this has a very BDSM feel. So if you're going dominatrix or dominant submissive type, yeah, cool. If you're wearing it out for an everyday look, no.
Yeah.
So purchase in one arena,
Ooh, depends on the
pass
mood. Okay.
on another.
I'm gonna pass because it reminds me of like in the 6th grade, like somebody's gonna grab my hair by the end of the night, and then also like how they would like pull on your pigtails like when you were younger. So that would happen with the hair, and then they would also untie my dress all night just because that's fun, and there's a bunch of ties on it.
So you're also in the Ray mood.
Yeah, yeah. With this one, no, I think I'm gonna pass on it. I really hate it, really do. It's really not where it's
I
at.
think I'm gonna pass. I really hate it.
Really, really hate it. So I'm maybe gonna pass. Yeah.
Katie to tell you how she feels, everybody.
Not hiding it. Not hiding it.
Then our last look is Michelle with we've seen this look before. Katie, I know you mentioned that
Yeah.
she kind of gravitates toward that side look.
Not
a
only
lot.
that entire thing is what she made on her last avant-garde challenge that she made on the last season. It's literally the exact same shape and everything.
But at the same time, it looks like a big old wave that maybe
Yep.
I'd ride. So maybe I'd purchase for the right event. It does look like art to me. It looks just like a splash of something on a canvas. That's what I think of, like Van Gogh, or I don't even know Picasso. I just think of an artist when I see this.
Yeah, I
So
think
I would,
art gallery
I think
opening.
I'd purchase it.
Modern,
Art gallery opening.
contemporary.
That'd
Yeah,
be perfect
that'd
if
be
this
really
was
cool.
like your display.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say purchase because the sleeve side piece had a pocket. I don't know if anybody caught that, but
Love
it had
a
a pocket. And I love a pocket. This the mini dress type thing that she got going on. I need her to switch it up. It's giving me Alyssa Milano feel. So
Oh no.
I'm gonna need that to be switched up. But other than that, I thought it was really good. I thought it was executed well. Even if even if she did do this last time and it did well, perfect. She did it again and it did well again. So she knows what route to go, being safe. But I would definitely purchase.
I'm gonna purchase the idea of the anxiety garment, but I'm gonna pass on this garment. I love the idea of being able to be comforted by your clothes, but that giant sleeve is not gonna come for me. It's gonna give me a lot of anxiety all night because I don't know where to put it. So I'm gonna pass it, but I love the anxiety idea.
And not to mention, I know this is off this subject, but not to mention like Anthony Ryan just mentioned, I would totally purchase Dimitri's like
That was
jacket
cool.
coat
Yeah.
sheer
Yeah, it's really
thing.
pretty.
Yeah.
They just kind of safely put him to the side, but it was kind of like y'all missed that. Like,
Kind of
there
hate
was-
when they do that.
they miss a lot of things, and I don't know. Like Django should have been gone a long time ago. There was other people that I would like to have seen. I I mean, we go over this every week.
Wherever they go with these outfits, I just hope they don't serve beverages because, like, how do you go to the bathroom in them?
Yeah, I don't. You're going to dip that into a toilet, I can guarantee you that much. Yeah, there's no way it's going to make it out dry. Absolutely not. I like how in the episodes, if like you pay attention, you can kind of tell by the edit who's going to end up in the top 6 because of who they're showing the most. Like, because they didn't show Dimitri that much, so he was safe. So pay attention next time because you'll find out.
And how crazy was that Anthony Ryan told us about? 4 hours? That's like I almost don't know if I'd be nervous by that point. And just like, come on, let me know what's up.
I need to go home. Like, no wonder their days are so long. Good God.
And guys, let's end on predictions of what we think. We saw a little teaser of the next episode.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I'm sure all of us ladies can appreciate a good shopping spree. That's what we're seeing for next. I believe they were saying they have 3 daytime looks that they are putting into 1 nighttime look.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot. I can barely pick what I want to wear out, so I can't imagine having like 3 different outfits that I'm putting together into 1. What do you guys think we're going to see?
I'm over this JCPenney situation. I'm not a fan of JCPenney, so now you're going to torture them by making them have to buy something from it and then create something with it. So SOS. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens, but definitely done with this. And they're always like, "Oh, I found these great shoes." And did you really find great shoes from the JCPenney wall? Like, I don't know if you did, but
sounds sponsored.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Like Lyft when they were leaving Mood, they were like, "Let's call our Lyft." I'm like,
"Oh,
hashtag ad." Like hashtag ad. There it is.
I definitely want to see this. I'm hoping that even though this was a year ago, I'm hoping that somebody forecasts it and does a mix of prints. I want to see prints.
Rocking it tonight, girl.
Over. So, yes.
I think Anthony is going to do an amazing job. Even when he was just talking, he talked about how his price points, it has varying levels. So I think this is going to be like his, I feel like he's probably going to win again. Like, this is going to be his challenge.
And honestly, after talking to him, I hope he does, because he seems so genuine. He seems like a cool person, and to not engage in drama also said a lot about him. He's like, I don't need to go there.
He also kind of said under his breath, like, there's going to be a lot more shockers that are coming up, and he kind of like put, and I don't think you all heard it, but he was like, yeah, there's going to be a lot more that you don't expect happening. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm definitely ready for that.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
All right, guys. I'm Haley J. You can find me at HAYJ_, and Anthony Ryan can be found at his Colorblind Instagram handle.
And guys, I can be found on Instagram at LoveAlwaysPrincess.
Hey guys, I'm Monique Loveless, and you can find me everywhere at Miss Mo Loveless. That's MS Mo Loveless. Make sure you also check out your styles, tip, and tricks on MoniqueLoveless.com, and check me out on Mondays at 6 p.m. for Total Bellas.
You can follow me everywhere at Little Baby Kate, so make sure to check out my podcast. See you next Tuesday. You can listen to it on iTunes, Stitcher, or my website, katiethompson.la. Bye, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day!
Yes!
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.